Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to 9.1.2, the final part on it that is going to be the Scourge Path, and the notes are going to be Scourge defensive ability accuracy down. There is also going to be Scourge with special attack and proliferate with special punish, and clarify with heavy knockdown and buff toggle unblockable. And finally, striker vulnerability. To simply put, you will keep gaining Scourge charges and you will have to perform heavy attacks to remove them. If you don't, your defensive ability accuracy will reduce, and the Scourge charges can be paused when you punish a special. Now the defenders are going to be Blade, Immortal Hulk, Dormammu, Black Widow Deadly Origin, Fixit, and Killmonger. Now the best champions here, in my opinion, are going to be your nukers, but that have parry in a heavy style. So for example, Archangel, for example, your Hyperion, your Colossus. All of these champions will work well here because the heavy will help remove the charges and the nuke will help finish off the fight faster. Now you might require some auto evaders for some of the fights. For example, your Fixit fight, you will need an auto evade champion and you need an armor break for that Killmonger. So those are the annoying fights, keep an eye on that. So your top picks are going to be Archangel, Silk, and Kate Bishop. If you have all three of them, you can run through the whole path along with one armor breaker. Boost and masteries are going to be your regular ones, and the boss island we are going to attempt the Jabari Panther, so stay tuned for that and let's jump into the pass. The first fight is going to be against a Blade, and I am going to use an Archangel there. Now you will notice there is a purple charge every 2 seconds that is called the Scourge charges. The way you remove them is you knock down the opponent with a heavy attack. Every time you knock them down, 3 of those charges are removed. Now what happens if you don't remove the charges? Your defensive ability accuracy is reduced and you will not be able to parry and all of that good stuff. Now if you punish the special of the opponent, that timer is paused, and for 4 seconds that opponent does not gain any kind of Scourge charges. Now the way Blade works is his SP1 is quite easy to evade, and the SP2 you can block it out, but it's very tough to evade. And there is a node here that provides unblockable to the opponent every 8 seconds. So it's very important that you keep Blade only to SP1 and you can just keep evading that. If you push to SP2, one SP2 with all of those bleed damage might kill you off very quick. So just be wary about that. You will notice that at some of these during this fight, you would notice that I did not get Blade did not get much of unblockable. That is because I had my neurotoxin on him and his ability accuracy is reduced, so the unblockable node did not trigger. But now it's back. So yeah, a pretty straightforward fight. Parry heavy nuke. Keep that in mind. Archangel has parry heavy. He's also a nuke and he can quickly destroy the fights. Now some other options that you can use here can be your Hyperion. I've used Hyperion here. I've also used Kate Bishop here. I think that Colossus will work good, and also your Spider-Man Stark Enhance, build up those poise charges, and then you can go and nuke him out. Onslaught is a good counter as well. Any parry heavy base style nuker would work really well. Next up, we are going to have Hulk Immortal. Same concept. You need a champion that is going to nuke him down, but can also use heavy attacks every now and then or after the parry. Now, I'm using a Kate Bishop here because you have to heavy attack the opponent to refresh your cold snaps. So that helps reduce those Scourge charges as well. So she is a good option. Very similarly, some other good options are going to be your Shield. She works really well because of parry in heavy style. You can also use your Black Cat. She can work too here. Nick Fury is not the ideal counter, but you know how the mechanics are for Hulk Immortal. You can bring in Nick Fury and you can play a parry heavy style that can work too. And yeah, quite a few different options available. Try to focus on the bleeder so you can keep his charges down so he does not get a second life, and you can finish him off on the first one easily. Now he is a very beefy and tanky champion, so it does take a little bit of time to kill him off. Even with 2 of those cold snaps up on him, it takes a bit of time. And about his special attacks, keep him to an SP1 only. which is much easier to evade. You can also very safely evade the SP2, but generally SP2 is like the harder one, and a lot of summoners have trouble with it. So I would say just keep him to an SP1, and that's a very easy evade just right there, and you go back in and down to 5% and he is out. The fight number 3 is where the fun starts. Now, if you are not using a if you're using a champion that has a lot of buffs, you will really struggle on this fight because of Dormammu's sig ability. So you have to bring in a champion who is immune to buffs, or with the relic, the dexterity also doesn't count. Once you have that out of the way, you're not worried about the degen. Next step up is to keep knocking him down to keep the Scourge charges in control. Skilk is a really good option here because she has a heavy attack naturally built in her combo, so I can play around during the unblockable phase, and the rest I can go attack in. Even a special 1 or special 2, I will be able to evade with the Silk's Sixth Sense. So you need champions that are kind of auto evaders, and they will work really well. Some of the options that can work here, we can bring in a Human Torch and play parry and heavy style only. You can bring in your She-Hulk. She is a obscure, of course, very crazy champion. You have to keep knocking down Dormammu to keep up those slows, so she works well. You can also bring in a Luke Cage, Hulk, and also Spider-Ham, just the usual suspects, and Dormammu, and you should be good. Mr. Negative is another one. So it is going to be a slow play fight because I do not want to get like severely punished. So saving up, I think I throw an SP3 here, then into a medium, light, medium again, medium combo into a striker into SP1. So that just puts a lot of lot of physical vulnerability on Dormammu, and my special attacks do quite a bit of damage. So here we are. And Dormammu is down just like that. Make sure the right champion you bring in, especially auto evaders, will help you with that SP2 if you push him. Ideally, you need to keep Dormammu to SP1 only. Next up is going to be a Black Widow Deadly Origin. Now, on the surface, the fight looks very simple. Nothing to worry about it. But once you go deeper, you will know that this fight is pretty annoying because you need somebody who can bypass the evade if she throws an SP1. Which brings to my next point. Try to push her to an SP2. It's not about the easy evade. It's about if after SP1 she gets that evade charge and you want to avoid that. So, some other good champions that can work are going to be basically your nukers. Bring in the nukers and nuke her out as quick as possible. And if she is at SP1, she's not throwing it out, just use 4-hit combos and block and try to push her to an SP2, and you should be good taking her down. I'm using an Archangel here. I took quite a bit of hits in the beginning. So what I'm trying to do here is to just use parry and heavy so I can keep the Scourge charges down, and then I can just apply those neurotoxins and see her melt. Now, one more thing that you need to notice here, that Archangel is immune to ability accuracy reduction. So all of these Scourge charges do not really affect him, but with other champions it will really come into play. So you have to be careful about that. There are quite a few champions in the game, their ability accuracy cannot be reduced. So although they will also work great on this path because the Scourge charges will not do any harm to them. And just like that, Black Widow Deadly Origin is down. I waited for the longest time to get my Archangel to rank 6, but now that I have him ranked 6, quite happy with his performance and he's doing well. This is going to be an annoying fight because it's your Fixit. 1 SP1 and you're dead. Because the SP1 applies so many bleeds on you, and if you don't have the right counter to it, you are going to die very quick. So my counter was Silk. I just brought in Silk. Even if he throws in, my whole idea is to push him to an SP2 always, just 4-hit combo and block. But if it comes down to it, he does throw an SP1. I have Silk who can evade all of that on her own. I don't have to worry. So your auto evaders will come in handy here. So for example, your Spider-Man's Dark Enhance will be amazing. You can also use evade champions with immunity, so Ultron will work really well. It'll be a slow fight, of course, with Ultron, but it will be a good one. Again, Joe Fixit is quite a beefy and tanky guy, and with all of those specials and scary specials, the fight is like really slowed down, and I am like really slowly going through this fight, so I can get him down in one go. This is probably a very annoying fight that you will encounter, so the whole key is how easily you can push him to an SP2, and from there onwards you can take him out. So here we are at 9 charges. He throws an SP2, go back in, another heavy attack, and 7 charges. So it's a really slow process to get those charges down. Sometimes we will try to do heavy every now and then, but by the time the animation, Joe Fix's animation finishes, there's also already another charge. So be careful about the charges with the defensive ability accuracy, and the rest should all just fall into place. I am just using my forehead combo into heavy and backing up my power. I think I probably went for a SP3 rotation here. Yeah. There you have it, SP3 rotation, medium, 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 light, medium, and finally medium, medium, and at the end of it there's a big SP2 with 29 of those physical vulnerabilities. And look at Joe Fixit, he's so down. Right after 50%, he's down to 26%. Keep an eye on the Scourge charges, keep them under control, otherwise the defensive ability accuracy is reduced, and with all of those weaknesses, when he throws his SP1, you are going to do very less damage. Now I have 3 weakness, so you just also need to be careful about that. Keep pushing him to an SP2, and that is the most safer way to do it. So yeah, here I will leave you to it with the takedown with Silk, and I'll see you on the next fight. Next up, we're going to have a final defender that is going to be a Killmonger. You will need an armor break champion. I've given you plenty of options. I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So I'm using my Hyperion, just slowly building up my SP2 and all of those Furies, and just like that, I armor broken Killmonger. Now the fight is under control, nothing to worry about. There you have it. The unblocker really doesn't matter, because if you know the spacing, it's not a projectile attack. It's more of a physical attack, so you can easily evade it. And with Killmonger, just parry and Harry style, keep using the SP2, keep him armor broken, and you should be good. And another SP3. Down to 42%. Every now and then, whenever you will use a striker, they will do 150% burst damage of your attack. So it's very negligible, but it's there, it helps. So just use a striker whenever you can. And yeah, that's about it for this fight. I'll jump with you on the next one, that is going to be the boss fight. Jabari Panther, probably the most annoying boss after Shocker in 9.1.5. Jabari Panther just have all of these cleanse and cleanse palettes, and if you apply any debuff, she uses the cleanse to remove it. And then there is also power creep, so every time you apply a debuff, she is going to get the ability to gain more power with every buff. For every debuff that is shrugged off of her. So there are plenty of options. I would highly suggest you to bring in white mags, because without him the fight can be difficult. Second one is try to bleed champions that are bleed immune, because a large part of Jabari's Panther comes from bleed, so if you take that away you should be good. And thirdly, do not parry the opponent. If you don't have a Vags, do not parry the opponent. Remember that there's also going to be mutant ascendancy, so your mutant champions are the best way to go that are bleed immune in my opinion. And there's also power stack, so whenever you will gain a buff, that is going to be nullified, and Jabari Panther is going to take that buff for her. So yeah, that's about it guys. I think we have covered everything. This is going to be a little longer fight, stay tuned for that. I think I die here after a little bit, and I came back to finish off the fight with Hyperion. But yeah, all in all, we are done with 9.1.2. Now only 2 videos remaining on 9.1. I'll get them out soon as well, maybe before Summer of Suffering this week. Around that is, I think, going to be told. So yeah, stay tuned for that guys, and as always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've already done it, share your experience. I would love to hear from you guys, and let's help each other out. Apart from that guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.